All right, this is Docendo Discamus 8. Here's the word history mystery. What does an adjective, meaning sociable, have in common with an adjective meaning outstandingly bad? So if you can come up with one word, that's great. But if you can come up with both, they should have something in common again. And typically, it's some kind of a root. So looking at the sentence, we're thinking now as editors. Mary is normally a friendly person, but don't expect her to be gregarious today because she isn't feeling good. So looking at the first part of the sentence. Now watch out for coordinated conjunctions because sometimes you need a comma, sometimes you don't. Now, the simple rule is when you do need a comma is when you have two independent clauses that are connected. That means you have at least a compound sentence, right? So Mary is normally a friendly person. Subject, verb, that is a independent clause, isn't it? Let's see if we have an independent clause on the other side. Don't expect her to be gregarious today. That's an independent clause, isn't it? So therefore, we need a comma here. Again, it's just kind of like a traffic sign telling our reader what's coming next is a complete thought. Now, look at the semicolon. You want to watch out for semicolons. Semicolons are basically just another form of a period. So you should have a complete thought on both sides. So let's check that. We know we have a complete thought on the left side, but the right side, because she isn't feeling good. That sounds like a dependent clause to me. And the reason I know that is because is a subordinated conjunction, isn't it? So we can't have a semicolon there. Let's just get rid of the punctuation altogether. We don't need a comma because when you end a sentence with a dependent clause, it's not necessary to have a comma. So look at our sentence now. Mary is normally a friendly person, but don't expect her to be gregarious today because she isn't feeling good. One more little problem. This would be called a word choice problem. And this comes under the category of usage. This is kind of thing you might see on the SAT. When you're talking about a feeling, you say well. I'm not sure if I can spell this very legibly. So that's just a matter of knowing the usage there. When you're talking about how are you feeling, I'm feeling well. I think that's all the changes we need there. Now let's go to the definitions. So gregarious is fond of being with other people. So if you're a very social person, you enjoy being with a group, that's the term gregarious. Now notice that comes from the Latin meaning group or flock, so it makes sense. A group of people, gregarious. The other word is egregious, outstandingly bad, shocking. Now if you think about this one, it kind of makes sense because if something is outstandingly bad, you can see it very clearly, right? And it's almost like it stands out from the group. So it's something egregious. So a referee makes a very bad call. Everybody sees the bad call. It's obvious. It's an egregious. It's not just a bad call. It's an egregious call. So again, that Latin root, you see that word, that root in a number of different words. Congregate, egregious, segregate, aggregate. All those words have something to do with grouping or groups. So here's our corrected sentence. Mary is normally a friendly person, comma, but again, we call that our coordinating comma because we're making a compound sentence. Actually, let's call that the compound comma. And then we had the change where we got rid of the semicolon because we didn't need it, and we added the word well instead of good. All right, for next time, for Docendo 9, what does an adjective meaning having definite limits have in common with an adjective meaning extremely small? All right, I'll see you next time.